athletes, Coach James here from Zero Negative Swimming, Zero Negative Swimming on Facebook, swimzaim.com. Rob, one of my athletes and friends, asked me to speak to you today about safety and finding a coach and being prepared for the swim portion of the triathlon. The first thing you want to know is a lot of people think that swimming is not important in triathlon. I think it's the most important. It's the first part. It sets you up. There's a lot of free energy to be gained if you do the right thing and find the right coach. And it's your life. It's the most important part. You got to learn to swim smarter, stronger, faster. What you want to do is find a pro coach. They should have open water experience and swim experience, preferably 5 years of school coaching training. You're guaranteed at least that they have some background on how to coach people in swimming itself. The open water part, even more important. I'm a lifeguard 30 years. I've been competing for 30 years. I know all aspects, train in big water, save lives, and that. You have that experience that you can draw on in any situation, and I do use that. I start my athletes always in the pool. We do technique first. We work on skill training and making sure we clean that up. There's a lot of free energy to be taken back if you swim all over the place and you have this issue with heads up and stuff like that, and poor kick, and a myriad of things that you can change. And what we want to do is straighten all that out so that you're efficient in the water. Efficient and proficient. Sorry about that. So we do techniques, and while we're in the pool, by the way, in a safe, controlled environment, and one of the things I'm big on is teaching my athletes how to deal with mass starts, mass crowds. We put them together, we have them swim next to each other so they can get a feel for that. So we don't just practice pool stuff when you swim with me. We practice all the things that we need to do as far as what's going to prep you to get in the open water and feel comfortable in that environment. Then we go to a lake, and we transition to a lake. We do a lot of the same things we do in the pool, and we add all the things that we do sighting-wise. Most people coach just one way to sight. I have like 100 ways that I do so that I can compete on a higher level. I'm 52 years old, so I got to compete against 17 and 18-year-olds. I got to be perfect. I got to be straight, and I got to know what's going on. They have energy to burn. I don't. It's got to be right. So we work on that. We do skill training in there. We work on, I take advantage of all conditions, by the way. We don't just go in flat water. I teach my athletes whatever the waves, whatever the wind, whatever that gives us that day, I gear the workout for that so those people can get some experience going against the tide, into the tide, reading currents in a safer environment, safer than an ocean. Then we transition to the ocean. I take each of my athletes individually and do wave management, I call it. So on a day when it's flat, we do training. We stick together, we train together so everyone's safe. And then on days when it is big waves or whatever, I take each athlete in and out of the water myself so that they get to see how to manage that waves. Because you never know what conditions you're going to get in some of these open water swims. A lot of times you get perfect conditions. It's flat, it's a lake condition, but it can be choppy in some of those bigger lakes and stuff like that. So in the ocean, we do the wave management. We just carry along and have this nice progression so that people feel really comfortable. I do some things and techniques so that when they're swimming together out there, I'll do little things myself that they can get a feel for what it's like to be pulled on or dunked a little bit and those type of things, just so they prepare for it. We don't leave anything to chance. One of the major things you want to do is, if in doubt, stay out. I've been telling people that forever, lifeguarding wise. You go to the water and you look into that water and you say, hey, I got a queasy stomach, this isn't for me. You're telling yourself, your body's telling yourself, don't do it. Stay out of that water. It's not a shame to go do whatever you need to do to be safe. That's what's important. Don't wait until spring to start swimming. Now's the time. I'll get people in June saying, hey, could you help me? I'm going to do a triathlon. And I say when? They say 2 weeks from now. Now's the time to train. You'll see a lot on the internet that says, well, take it off, do whatever. Listen, you're less on the bike now, less on the run. Good time to train. Good time for your body to heal up. A good time to accumulate conditioning and swimming. I call it developing a feel for the water. It takes a while to develop a feel for water if you're not a swimmer per se. So you want to take advantage of that. One of the things I wanted to talk about, Rob asked me to talk about, is self-seeding at the meets. When I first got into triathlon, coaching triathletes for the swim portion of it, which I specialize in. I don't do the other part. I send people to triathlon coaches for the actual event part of it. I couldn't believe that you just do this mass start with so many people. And I've done mass starts myself with 150, 200 people. That's kind of manageable. When you get to that 3,000 range, and they started doing the self-seeding, I like that. But people take advantage of it and say, I want to be up in the next thing. What you need to do is seed yourself, if that's the option, in a proper spot, not ahead and not behind. I'd like to see him taken a little further, and I brought this up to a bunch of my athletes that have been around for a while. They said it'll never change, but it's already changing, and they need to do something. They should do time seeded. You have to make a time during the winter time for a 1.2 in a controlled environment in the pool. You get a time of 20 minutes, let's say, for a 2,000. That equates to a 1.2 or however that goes. And then you have to go to that, and it's easy for the directors to do it because then they just time. It'll elevate the sport. It'll elevate it and make it safer for everybody, because the next thing you know, people have to say, I can no longer blow off the swim. I can't listen to, well, the swim doesn't matter. It matters the most. And we are obligated as athletes to be proficient, efficient, and be prepared for all portions of a race so that everybody has a great experience and it's safe for everybody. No one likes that person who doesn't know what they're doing on the bike and gets them in the way, but in the swim, you can punch people, you can kick people, pull their goggles, do whatever. In the bike, you can't even draft on them. So it's a good time to start transitioning into something like that. Be more than happy to help USAT or whoever the body is and come up with a good plan for that. My name's James Kotran, Zero Negative Swimming. Love to help you out. Thanks, Rob, for the opportunity.